Hi everybody, it's Catherine from In the Pink Designs. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator. And my project today is this, I want to say jumbo, but it's really not jumbo. It's a large goodie bag box. I worked on this all day and I think it's just great. I used, actually let me tell you, it is 5 3/4 by 3 3/4 by 1 1/2. So a whole bunch of stuff will fit in here. I will show you later what I'm gonna put in there. I used Sweets and Treats stamp set for the platter or pedestal and the candy apples. Unfortunately, the only thing that there's a die for in this is the cloche, because it goes to another stamp set. But so I did have to fussy cut these, which I know a lot of you don't really love fussy cutting. But you could always use the same box and put a little different thing in the middle of it. Okay, so I used Sweets and Treats. For the sentiment, I used Happy Halloween. I used Frightfully Cute, sorry. I used the seasonal label dies for this label here and this sentiment label. I used the Tailor Made Tags. I used the smallest here for this, and then I cut the bottom to make it a little smaller. I used the layering circle dies for all of this. And I used the Cute Halloween Designer Series paper for all the paper, including cutting out the pumpkin. On this one, I'm going to use a ghost, I think. This one we do. All right, so that's all the products that I used in this. Let me show you what we need here. We need a ghost, which I cut out with the Halloween punch, which is in a bundle with the Cute Halloween stamp set also, but I'm just using the punch this time and the DSP. So I cut a ghost out of the DSP, and then for the backgrounds DSP, I cut 2 pieces that are 3 1/2 by 4 1/4. Now I didn't put one on the back because I'm running low on this paper, but on the one we're doing I will. But you don't have to put it on the back. You could just decorate the front if you want to. So 2 of those. For the sides, I used 2 that are 1 1/4 by 4 1/4. And for the 2 top parts here, they are 3/4 by 3 1/2. Okay, so that's 6 pieces. And then the 7th piece is one of the scraps that I cut to fit in this tag. So this is 1 by 1 1/2. Let me check. Nope. 1 by 1 3/4. Let me just change that. So if you're looking on my blog, I don't want to have the wrong measurements on there. My blog is linked below where you can find all the measurements. Okay, so we got that. Now, I mistakenly used my embossing folder on the scallop dies. I really only wanted to do it on the circle, but you don't really notice. So I only used the checks. It's called the Checks and Dots Embossing Folders. I used the dots. Okay, and this circle is from the layering circle dies, and it's 2 5/8, and then the little bit larger scallop is about 2 7/8. All right, so those go together. This is from the Tailor Made Tags. This is Highland Heather. Sorry, this is Pumpkin Pie Highland Heather. This is from the Cute Halloween DSP, and it's the largest of the seasonal label dies labels. Where is it? It's this largest one here. All right, and then I already stamped it on one side, but we'll do it on this side. This is one of the smallest labels from that same stamp set. We need some basic white for stamping and a piece of Highland Heather that is 11 by 7 1/2. Alrighty, so this is a big one. We put all this to the side, and we're going to use our 11 by 7 1/2 piece of Highland Heather first with our Simply Scored. Sorry. Okay, so we're going to start on the 11-inch side, and we're going to score at 3 3/4, 5 1/4, 9, and 10 1/2. And then we're going to turn it to the 7 1/2-inch side, and we're going to score, sorry I don't have the top, at 1/2, 1 1/2, and 6. Alrighty, that's it for scoring. Okay, and then I'm going to get my bowl folder and I'm going to score and fold and burnish. We're putting the top skinny rectangle the opposite way. And don't forget about Celebration. It's free products for every $50 until September 30th is when it ends. And if you wanted to join my team, you would get an extra bundle along with the $99 for $125 worth of products and free shipping. Okay, and also I wanted to say thank you to all my subscribers. Yesterday I hit 2,000 subscribers. I didn't think that would ever happen, and I'm so grateful. Thank you so much. All right, now this is what we want to do, and I have this flipped around, so excuse my handwriting on here. Okay, we're just going to cut the bottom tabs and get rid of the top and bottom of the skinny, and then we're going to keep these two flaps and just tab out these rectangles that we're going to treat like squares. Alrighty, so how you want to have your paper is the skinny rectangles on the left hand side and at the top. Okay, alright, so we're going to come down here and we're going to cut to the first score line on the skinny rectangle, and then we're just going to wedge a little bit off of the piece above it. Shouldn't really pull until you know it's there. Okay, so then we have this square here. We're going to go and cut the side of the rectangle that's next to it straight, and then wedge both sides of the square. Okay, then we're going to go to the other side of this rectangle, cut it straight, go to the other side of the square, cut the side of this other rectangle straight, and then wedge the sides of the square. Okay, and that's the whole bottom. Now we're going to turn it 180 so that the skinny rectangles are on the bottom and the right hand side. We want to keep both of these flaps just as is. So we're going to go over to this first score line and cut to the second score line. Okay, go to the other side of these two small rectangles and cut the other side of that flap straight. Okay, now this bottom piece is going to act like it's a square. All right, so we're going to take off the skinny piece of rectangle at the top and then just wedge a little bit out of each side of this rectangle. Okay, now we're going to move to the other side of this flap, cut it up to the second score line, go to the other side of these two rectangles, and we're going to take this little square and this rectangle off and wedge a little bit above it. Okay, then come and we're going to get rid of this rectangle on top or below and then wedge the rectangle which we're treating like a square. Okay, now what we need is the detail trio punch, and I'm going to round all four corners of the flaps. Okay, and then what we're going to do is we're going to turn the detail trio punch to this It's like a little dash oval kind of. And we're going to put the middle of each of our tabs in there. So how I do it is these pieces in here, let me put this down so you can see it better. There's two raised pieces right there. And I'm going to make sure what sticks out past it is about even on both sides. Okay, and there we have a little hole to run our ribbon through. Okay, and the same with the other side too. Just make sure that both sides run out about the same, and it doesn't have to be perfect. There you go. Okay. Now this is what your cardstock should look like when you're done cutting it, scoring it, and cutting it and punching it. Okay, so now we need our tear and tape, and we're going to put it on the skinny rectangle as close to the score line as we can get it. Okay, and then we're going to take this off. This is your my take your pick tool. If you haven't watched me before, flip it over, flip just the piece that has the tape on it, and then flip this other side of the box over to meet it. Okay, now this is going to be the back of your box right here. So just stand it up. You're going to push the sides in. Now, there it is. And the back. And then this is where we're going to put our tear and tape. I'm going to put one very close to the edge. And it might get heavy, so I'm going to put one more inside for good measure. Great. Okay. And then you can open up the flaps so that you can put it down straight, and then make sure it's all nice and even. And I'm just going to push in there and make sure it adheres to the piece well. Okay. So that's your basic box now. All right, now we have our DSP. Alrighty. Okay, and we're going to put the two pieces that are 3.5 by 4.5 on the front and the back. And I'm using liquid glue. Okay, the two pieces that are 1.25 by 4.25 are going to go on the two sides. Okay, and then the two pieces that are 3/4 by 3.5 are going to go on the flaps. Okay, and I will let that dry a minute. And we need our other bits. All right. Okay, so this we're going to glue right in the middle on the front. Make sure it's the front of your box. Yes. And I always struggle to find which is the edges, but just look on the bottom, and the part that's at the back is the back. I'm sure all of you already know that, but it takes me a while sometimes till I figure out the easy way. Alright, I'm just going to center this on both ways, both sides. Try to get it as straight as I can. Okay, and then we're going to take our 2 5/8 circle that we embossed with the dots embossing folder and put it on our 2 7/8 scalloped circle that shouldn't be embossed, but that's alright, it hardly shows. Okay, now we're going to just let those dry while we do some stamping. Alright, so we need our basic white. And we only use Tuxedo Black. All right, so first I'm going to do the pedestal plate. Okay, and then I'm going to do 3 candy apples. Whoops. Yeah, I should be using a mat. That's good. I'll do a 4th one just in case I screw up cutting it. Okay. Now for the label, since this is a, this one's pretty straight, but since this is cling, I did do it before by stamping it first and then cutting it out, but let's see how I do this time. Well, it's a little crooked, but it's not bad. My advice is to stamp it and then cut it out with the die, and that die, again, is from the seasonal label dies. Okay, I already cut out what we need, so I'm just going to do the coloring now. Alrighty, so for the pedestal, I'm using light and dark Smoky Slate blends. And for the pedestal, for the dark, I'm going to put a whole bunch right at the bottom of the plate, under the plate, like the lip of the plate, right? And right where the bottom, the pedestal and the middle come together, and then at the bottom. And then I'm just going to color it in with the light Smoky Slate, and it'll blend in nicely. Okay, and that's it for the Smoky Slates. Okay, so now for the apples. First, I did the stick with dark crumb cake. I did the apple with light Mossy Meadow. Granny apple green would be good too, but those I have on order. Okay. And for the candy part, I'm using this dark Highland Heather. Okay. And that's it for the coloring. Alrighty, now we need our circles and liquid glue, and I'm going to put the pedestal so that just a little bit of orange shows at the corners of the bottom. Okay, and then I'm just going to put the middle candy apple on and then space the side ones out using this one. And then I'm going to get dimensionals. I'm going to put 4 on here since it's so big. And I'm going to center this also. Okay. Now we need the Happy Halloween to You, and we're going to put it right down here. And I'm going to use 1 dimensional, and 2 sides. You could put just 2 if you want to, just 2 full ones. And, oops, I'm just going to put it, no, I want that, I'm going to put it towards the bottom. Just cover up the bottom of the label. Alrighty, now what I'm going to put in here. I have a bunch. This is going to go to my daughter in Florida. I have some Snoopy socks, which all us girls love Snoopy. I don't know how many I could fit in. Probably 2, and then just some sweets. Yeah. Well, let me see. This one's kind of big, so I'm not sure. But lots of sweets will fit in here too. This one's kind of big. I don't know. Yeah, no, that one's not. Okay, so then I'll put some of the favorites of the house. Krabby Patties. And the Twizzlers. Okay, so that's our contents. Alright, so now what we want to do, I used a bunch of different ribbons and twine. So I used metallic mesh and gorgeous grape sheer ribbon to loop through, and then I tied it with the glittered organdy ribbon, and I tied the little tag on with the silver from the Simply Elegant trim. Alright, so now I'm just going to take both of these. I'm just going to stick it through this little oval and then have it stick up about, let's see, about 3.5 inches. Alrighty, we might trim it down after that. Alright, and then I'm just going to take the glittered organdy ribbon, and don't worry if it's not tight at first, because you could always take these and pull them apart and that will get it to go down. Okay, and then I'm just going to tie a bow right here. Now you can just tie one of these through. You don't have to do this all 3, and then just tie it with twine too. That's good. Sorry, I wasn't showing you while I was tying it. I had it up. Okay, and I'm just going to trim these a little bit. And then these are good. And I usually try to mix the gorgeous grape inside the metallic mesh because it keeps them standing up nicely. Okay, pull this out. If you don't like glitter shedding, this does shed a little, not a lot, but a little bit of glitter comes off. All right, so now we're going to do the tag. So we need one of the characters from the Halloween punch, which is a cat, a ghost, and a pumpkin. There's also skulls that you can cut out of the paper, but the punch doesn't have that. I don't think. No, just three of them. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to take this piece of scrap from cutting the DSP that is 1 3/4 by 1, and we're going to put it right where this level with this, where it goes into the angle there, and we're just going to glue it right on that. But you can put it as high or low as you want, of course. Just going to put it on there. Oops. Okay, and then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take my scissors and I'm going to leave just probably 1/8 of an inch under where the DSP ends, and I'm just going to cut it off. Alrighty, and then I need a dimensional again, probably 1 and then a side. This has to be mailed, but I'm always kind of overkill with the dimensionals. I just don't want it to fall off and have somebody be upset. All right, and I'm just going to put him right like that. That's so cute, don't you think? Alrighty, and then I'm going to take a little bit of the Elegant Trim, the silver one. I'm going to loop it through the tag. Well, this one kind of has an oval tag in it, an oval hole in it also. Okay, and then I'm just going to tie it around the bottom of the bow. And just make a bow in the back so they can pull it off easy and they don't have to cut anything if they don't want to. Okay, now I need some Wink of Stella glitter. And I am going to jazz up this pedestal. And you can't really see it on camera, but it looks really nice and cool for Halloween. And I always love candy apples. I love the red ones, but I made these purple. Okay, now I used some of the 2021 to 2023 in color jewels, and I put one on each of the apples, and then I put one on the stem of the pumpkin. I don't know if there's any way to really put one on him. I guess I could put it to the side. I think maybe I'll use one of the I'm not sure what this is called now. I haven't used it in a little while. The light purple one. And I'll just put it in the side like a little hair bow, I guess. All right, and that's it. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate my 2,000 subscribers so much. I'm so happy. I can't believe I got this far. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to ask me. My email address is below, or you can just ask me in the comments. You can go over to my blog, so you don't have to worry about rewinding for all the measurements. And have a great weekend, and I will see you next time. Please subscribe and hit the like button. Bye.